They live in this neighborhood?
So, how have you been, Jacob?
Oh, is it running?
Yeah.
Oh boy. What was the question?
How have you been?
Good.
You been good?
Yeah.
What you been up to?
Summer now, so trying to stay outside. I got a new job at Reed's Nursery, so I water plants all day pretty much. It's pretty nice. Get out in the sun.
What's your after high school plans?
I'm going to school in Western Carolina, Western Carolina University in North Carolina, to study maybe entrepreneurship.
You excited to leave?
Some days. Some days I am, some days I'm not.
Yeah. Got any big plans for the summer? Anything crazy?
I'm going to a couple concerts.
Oh.
I'm going to see Jack Johnson and Billy Joel.
Oh.
And then I'm going on a camping trip later in the summer.
Where at?
We're going to go like all the way up to Michigan, like to the top of it and back down, like a road trip.
Sick. All right. How'd you meet him?
Well, on the cross country team over the summer is when I first met him, like the start of like the preseason, whatever. But we didn't really talk until like gym class freshman year, when like we both kind of like noticed that oh, we're both on the cross team, we should probably start like chit chatting, just because we didn't know anyone else in our class, and everyone else in there was kind of weird, so it was just.
How long have you known him for?
Since freshman year, since first day of the summer, pretty much. So what is that, 4 years?
4 years, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How would you like describe your relationship to him?
I'd say we're friends. Whenever it'd be like a big group of cross guys like together and we were both there, usually we would like kind of gravitate toward each other a little bit. Obviously not like best friends, but not like we talked a lot.
It's like a friendship?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Was your guys' friendship like consistent throughout knowing him? Were you close throughout, or did it vary? Like, were there ever like any rough patches, anything like that?
I mean, we were never like that. Like, it was never that friendship where we'd be like best friends, like checking up on each other, like this and that. It was always one of those friendships that would like if we saw each other, we'd always talk, and if like we were running together on the team, then we'd run together. Just like when things just kind of worked out on the cross team because like we're always together, so it was never felt like strained to the point where I'd have to like, I haven't seen you in this long, until like he ended up quitting junior year. I just didn't see him that much.
How close would you consider yourself to him?
Like, what are we talking, like scale 1 to 10 or something?
Anything really.
I mean, we were close. Like, I don't really know how to answer the question though. Just 10 being best friends, 1 being like didn't know each other. I'd say we're probably like 6.5, 7 maybe.
Yeah. It's closer to him than.
That's not hard.
Do you have like a favorite memory in particular with him?
There was one time we were on a run. We were going to Rogers, which is right next to his house, and then we were running back, and we're like, "Can we go inside your house?" And he was like, "No," and we were like, "Come on, please." He goes, "Fine," and he takes us inside, and it was the funniest thing ever. He had a cat named and we got to see him, and he just gave us like a tour of his whole house, and his freaking room was so funny. He had this little cove thing that his bed was underneath, like no bed frame, nothing, just like a mattress, bunch of blankets, and then the majority of his room was like all workout equipment. So it was pretty funny getting to see the inside of his house.
I have a feeling I'm going to hear a lot. Caleb dropped quite a few yesterday.
Yep.
Did he teach you anything important or significant?
Probably hard work for sure. He was definitely one of the hardest workers on the team, and he would get mad when I was like the CEO slacking off on the cross team. So it was almost like I was against him in that way, where we both like butt heads and that. I'd be like, "Let's go play in the woods," and he'd be like, "We got to get better." So he was definitely in the right. So I learned hard work from him.
Do you feel like you could have taught him anything or left any impact on him?
Maybe. I don't know. I feel like I was pretty good at like accepting him into the group, so maybe just like involving people who don't get involved as much.
Yeah, I'm sure he appreciated that.
Yeah.
You know, he probably would have never said that.
No,
That's
definitely
just how
not.
he was. Is there anything that like stood out to you about him the most? Like anything really defining about that kid?
Um, Probably like when we first met, he was always like he wouldn't break out of his shell much, and it took so long to get him to start like warming up to everyone. Like it was probably like a year and a half to where like he would have full on conversations with us, and then after that he was just one of the guys pretty much. Everybody loved.
When was the last time you saw him alive?
We were going to play wiffle ball at Tower Park, and it was we like texted the group chat. We planned this like earlier, and so many people said they were gonna come, and like no one ended up coming. It was like me, Julian, Thursby, and maybe one or two other guys. Definitely not enough to play wiffle ball. So we're all kind of like sitting there, and funny story from this. Brought like his dad's new car, like new nice car, and there it was like absolutely nothing in it except for in the trunk. There was like plain like nothing in the trunk except for a giant Walmart bag full of coins. And Julian goes, "Come on, what are these?" He goes, "I don't know, they're my dad's." And Julian's like, "Can I have them?" And he goes, "Sure, I don't care." And Julian cashed it out, and it was like $50. So that was the last time I saw him, was at Tower Park. We never played wiffle ball. We just kind of screwed around, maybe played some basketball.
When would you say that was?
Maybe 3 weeks before it happened, probably.
Like mid-July?
Probably, yeah.
How was he?
He seemed fine then. He would during like that summer. He was always really like hard, like trying to like hang out with everyone, and I don't know. I feel like we probably should have made the extra effort. Now it's a little bit too late for that.
Was that out of character for him to push for plans like normally?
Well, since he wasn't on the cross team anymore, like he really didn't have like people just to hang out with all the time. So like he had to like take the extra step to like start making plans. So I guess a little bit.
Yeah. I feel like he's like one of those people that wanted everyone to like kind of come to him.
Yeah.
Are you glad you had that time?
The last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good last memory to have with him. It was real funny.
When did you find out about his passing?
Probably I think it was around 10 or 11 o'clock at night. It was August 8th. August 8th, yeah. August 8th around 11 o'clock.
Who'd you find out from?
A kid by the name of Jack. He's an old cross country alumni.
Were you shocked at all? Like,
Yeah, I was kind of just like at a loss for words. I was kind of just like sitting there like there's no way. Like inside my head I was just going like this has to be some kind of joke, or like this can't be real. Like we just took his quarter from his dad's car 2 weeks ago. So it took some time to kind of like process it. It was just, I don't know. Never been through something like that before, so it's kind of just, it's hard. Don't know how to process that.
like looking back, did you like see any like clear warning signs? Was there anything that like stood out to you?
Well, yeah, definitely him quitting like everything, like Dairy Queen, cross country, wrestling, his MMA thing, like quitting all that are obvious signs, and I missed them all. So.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I hear that so much, like when I talk to people about him, is like everyone's like, oh, like when he did this, I should have like reached out, and it's like I feel like it was just so out of left field. Like too many people put it on themselves that like they could have stopped it, when in reality, like it was just like he had a plan, and like I don't think he would have stopped it for anybody.
Was always really determined. He always beat to the sound of his own drum too. Like he didn't really care what anyone else was doing. So that's why we thought like him quitting cross or him quitting DQ was like not signs of mental health, but like just it's just he doesn't want to do it. He's not going to do it. He wants to do it. He's going to do it. It's just
No, yeah, and it was like this like going rogue like type story, like
yeah,
like oh, like this is the underdog, like he's quitting running to
yeah.
become an MMA fighter.
So we all thought he was going to be huge too. We were like, oh my god, he's really going to do it. We're all going to come to his fights, and he'd get so excited when we told him that. We were going to have like a date set up and everything for his first fight.
Like post his passing, have you ever struggled with your mental health?
I mean, yeah, because I mean, close friend to all of us. It's kind of hard to have a stable mindset after that happens, especially in the first week of school. You got to skip the second day to go to one of your friends' funerals. It's not easy.
Did you like ever receive treatment or like any sort of help for that afterwards?
No, not any like official stuff. No.
Did you guys ever bond over any music or anything?
Yeah, I remember there was this one semester of lunch where like it was like the worst lunch ever. Like we had no friends, and there was me, Julian, and we're like sitting there, and it was just so bad. We're just trying to come up with a conversation, and obviously Julian's like obsessed with music, so like that's one of the conversations we would have like almost every day. Like, did you hear this? Did you hear this? You should listen to this person. And then would always like come out of left field with like, yeah, Green Day's pretty good, and we're like, Green Day? You like Green Day? And then like just these random bands, and I'd look at and be like, these are the bands like I grew up listening to. Like I had no idea. We thought he only likes like Kid Cudi, Travis Scott, like Kendrick Lamar, just like rappers, but he had a diverse taste.
What do you think his favorite band was?
Kid Cudi, I'm pretty sure. He loved Kid Cudi. He'd talk about him all the time. Him and Kendrick Lamar. I guess those aren't bands, but top artists, I guess.
Yeah, and there's a new Kendrick album out. I always think like, what would about this?
You probably would have liked it. Loved Kendrick.
Is there any music like he like put you onto like in particular? Like you hear that and you're like, oh, that's.
Well, yeah, his playlist. When that playlist came out, like there's 50 songs. It's like every time I hear Adam's song by Blink-182, it's like sometimes like makes my hair stick up on my arms. It's a lot of songs in there, but it's crazy to look at that playlist, and you go from like 90s alternative to God knows what. He had everything on that playlist, which is like really speaks to me, because I feel like that's one of the things I pride myself on most is like my diversity in music taste, and the fact that I had that and was never like bragging about it. Kind of like, I don't know, I think it's cool.
Yeah, you go from like Blink-182, like 90s like emo rock, and then the next song is like Kanye and Jay-Z.
Yeah.
It's like it's funny, but that's like just like I feel like that's how he was.
Yeah.
Did you show him any music? Like, do you think you put him on to anything?
Maybe in that same like lunch semester, maybe we were talking about it, but I can't remember anything specifically. Any specific bands or anything.
What do you think music meant to him?
What did music mean to him? I feel like, well, during the time where he was alive, like I didn't think it meant much to him at all. I just thought like he just had diverse tastes. Like, I didn't think it was that much, but like after like looking back at it and like thinking about it more, it's like, wow, like music definitely meant a lot to him, especially like with Kid Cudi. Kid Cudi definitely spoke to him a lot.
Yeah, I feel like because he didn't talk a lot, like
Yeah.
that's really like one of the only like looks into like who he is that like we had after he passed was like this playlist.
Mhm.
Did he ever talk about like fighting, like MMA, anything like that with you?
Yeah, he used to tell. We'd usually ask him first, because we're all runners, we're all scrawny, we're all like no meat on our bones, and the fact that like one of our own is going to like go toe to toe with some random guy, we're like all into it. So we're like, when can we come watch? Obviously, like every week we'd be like, did you get your fight set up yet? He'd be like, no, my coach said I got to get better first. So all summer we were waiting for that fight.
No, it's weird too because I feel like you run a lot. You're gonna be like smaller and like.
Yeah.
I think even when he ran, he was just like built. Like,
Yeah.
it's a unit.
His legs were cannons.
No,
From the start.
I would not want to be in the ring with that kid.
No, taking a kick from would be lethal.
What do you think about like his career goal of like being like a professional fighter?
I thought it was cool. I mean, I knew I was determined and hardworking, so I didn't think like, oh, he's gonna be an MMA fighter, sure. I thought, I mean, I feel like he set his mind to it. I bet he could do it.
Yeah. Is there anything like significant, like fighting, like he had told you or like showed you?
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's funny that you mentioned that. So we were at DQ one time, and I was like, we had so much time to kill. We were just standing around like, and we had a couple like fight nights before this. So Juan would always destroy everyone. He'd go up against 4 people and beat them all. So I'd be like, you got to teach me how to throw a punch, and he like showed me, and I thought I was about to get laughed at, and he was like, no, and then he like showed me how to like put my feet right and everything, and like the stance and how to like follow through and everything. And I was like, wow, this kid's not laughing. I mean, if I asked like anyone else, they'd be like, you don't know how to throw a punch. You're a junior in high school. Not.
Yeah. So like, we're on to like the final question. We got time, so is there anything like you want to say or talk about?
Maybe at the end I'll think of something. Let's do this last question
All right,
first.
final question. Ooh. If you could say one thing to him right now, what do you think it would be?
If I could say one thing, we're gonna cut this time of me thinking about it.
No, we can cut a lot from this.
All right.
I think I jumped in and said a ton of stupid shit.
No, but it was good. If I could say one thing, like right now.
Any context, just really anything.
Like if I could say something like before he would committed suicide.
Think about it in that regard. Just really whatever you'd want to say to him right now.
Well, if I could say anything to him like before he did it, I'd probably say like, we're all here for him. Like there's light at the end of the tunnel, and that like he can do it. He can do anything he pretty much set his mind to, and he did. So I feel like I just tell him, keep going, keep fighting. You could do it. That I'm here. I'm his friend. If he needs anything, he can talk to me. Probably give him a hug.
Yeah.
Maybe listen to a couple of Kid Cudi songs or something. Put him on some of my music. He puts me on some of his. I don't know. That's probably what I'd do. Just hang out with him. Just talk. Just wish I could do that one more time, but